Joining us now live from Washington is Budget Committee Chairwoman, Tennessee Congressman Diane Black. Big day on the Hill. You guys are set to vote on this budget later this morning. Congresswoman Black, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting a good vote from the House. I'm expecting that we'll be able to move forward with the budget, which unlocks the tax reform. It is the golden key, and that means that we're going to give relief to the middle and the low income taxpayers. And the economy will boom. We'll have more jobs, wages will go up, and this will be a great thing for the American people.
What can you tell us about the House Ways and Means Committee, or at least the tax writers, looking at tinkering with how much money people can put into 401k plans? Because, again, that would be a risk certainly to the investment industry, to the financial industry, to the stock market for certain, and then also people's retirement safety.
Yeah. Let me first of all say that it is the goal of our committee to be sure that we enable people to be able to save as much as they possibly can within their means for their senior years, because we all know that Medicare and Social Security are at a point where we're going to have to do something to reform them for them to even be sustainable. So we want to encourage people, but we were looking at several different mechanisms of helping them to get there in the best possible way. And so those are dials that are being turned within our committee to, once again, at the end of the day, to encourage people to save.
Is there anything, Congresswoman, that you can talk about specifically? I can kind of read into what you're saying, that if the limits on 401k contributions are reduced, then you will give them some other mechanism to invest. But again, that complicates an already extremely complicated system for socking money away in retirement. Trying to use IRAs is not easy. And when you can do it easily at your workplace,
yes,
it is you just sign up and can essentially forget about it, except for looking at your investments once a year. But if you start tinkering with this, you are messing with people's livelihoods and their retirement safety.
Well, we certainly want to be sure that people have the opportunity to have simplicity, because that was one of our goals right out the gate. And so we're going to make sure that that is the case. And again, that we enable people to have the best mechanism that we can give them to make sure that they're saving for their golden years, so to speak.
So, Congresswoman, when I hear about people's retirement being potentially reduced, it seems to me that the consequences of that would far outweigh the benefits of the tax cut, which is for growth for the U.S. economy, for growth for the U.S., for American people. So, I mean, it seems like it should be, yes, we need the tax cuts, and I support the tax cuts to spur growth, but I feel like giving in on this part of it is kind of, robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak.
Yeah, I think you're going to be really pleased when we come out with our plan and we're getting ready to mark it up. I think you'll be very pleased with where we're going. Again, keeping our eye on the ball of what we want to do. We want to simplify the code. We want to enable people to be able to save, and we're going to do the best mechanism that we can to make sure that that happens.
Okay.
Congresswoman, I'm wondering, there's talk about closing the loopholes and broaden the base in order to, and then cut rates. What are some of the loopholes that might get cut from this?
Well, if you look at the code, there are just so many loopholes out there that what we really want to do at the bottom line is to make sure that this is fair, especially for those in the middle income, to make sure that they have more to be able to save within their home, as we have already talked about, to be able to send their children maybe to a school of their choice, to even take a vacation. And so it's very important that we simplify the code. It's 70,000 pages right now. And folks have a really hard time understanding even what's in the code. Even we have a hard time understanding. So it's simplicity that needs to be done. And that really is our goal at the end of the day, is to make it as simple as we can. As a matter of fact, 95% of the people will be able to fill out their tax return on a single postcard. So getting rid of many of those complexities. You already mentioned how many different vehicles there are, even to be able to save. And so let's make it concise. Let's get it down to the point where it will make it very easy for individuals to just say, that's simple enough. I can understand it. That's the product that I want to use.
Congresswoman, can you say, going back to the 401k issue, so the contribution limit this year is $18,000
That's right.
a year, $18,500 next year. Can you say definitively that the idea that that will be cut to $2,400 a year, that is off the table for the GOP?
I would just say to you that number is being looked at, and obviously we're looking again at middle class, making sure that the middle income is where we give the greatest benefit to make sure that their tax burden is reduced. And that's really where our eye is on the ball. So looking at those numbers that specifically target people that are in the low and middle income, and that we take care of them, because that's really the area of our emphasis.
Well, I can say that more than half of employees above $50,000 a year in income would be affected by the $2,400 cutoff. More than half of employees would get hit by that if you use that number. I wanted to point that out. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Diane Black. Take care.